Hey everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of my Dawn of the Dead series. This week I'll be taking a look at the 2009 Blu-ray edition of Dawn of the Dead by Arrow Video, and also discussing and giving my thoughts on the 2004 remake of the same name. First up though, as you can see, it's a different change of layout. I got a TV in the back just playing over some old TV spots and trailers from the time. Again, I thought I'd spice it up a little bit, make it a little bit more visually interesting for you guys. But anyway, let's get into the review. And first up is the Blu-ray from Arrow Video. I remember seeing this Blu-ray at the time. I think it was on the shelves in HMV. I went with my dad to pick it up, and we're both super excited, especially him. He had just got into the format of Blu-ray after collecting DVDs for so many years. And really, when it comes to Dawn of the Dead releases in Britain, the only one, well, the one that came before the Blu-ray set was the Arrow Video DVD. I think from 2004, the same year as the Ultimate Edition, that was our kind of equivalent. So Dawn of the Dead was very well needed on Blu-ray, and what better company to do it than Arrow Video, who, like I said, did the DVD release a couple years before. But anyway, it was an exciting time. The edition was one of their first Blu-rays, I want to say, and it was definitely one of their first window box editions. And perhaps if it wasn't for this film and maybe the success and popularity it granted Arrow Video at the time, like, who knows where we would have seen the company. But I definitely think that this was, in their eyes, they were definitely banking on this to be, a huge success with the fans. And I think it definitely was. A lot of people cherished this release. It became very sought after over the, since it was released over 10 years ago now. It went out of print super fast at the time. Probably within a year, it started to fetch crazy prices on eBay and Amazon, and it was just impossible to find anywhere else. Now the price of it has dropped quite a bit due to the new second sight release. But like I said, this was my dad's copy. He sold it to me a couple of years ago when he got the Umbrella release, and he knew it was the start of my Arrow Video collection. He knew how much I loved the film and how much I wanted this edition, and at the time the prices were just way too crazy for me to pick up, so I'm very grateful for that. So I cherish this edition. It's one of my centerpieces in my Arrow Video collection, and like I said, it's highly sought after by fans of Dawn of the Dead and Arrow Video, so it really is a must-have. But anyway, talking a bit about the packaging, as you can see, this is one of their classic window box editions. I've never been a huge fan on the window box editions. I know there are a lot of people that really love the look of this and perhaps want Arrow to go back and do a couple more of these, and I'd be totally up for that. But personally, for myself, I kind of prefer how their packaging is now. One thing that I've always disliked about the window editions is the plain white border, and that goes throughout the packaging, and when you take the actual Amaray case out, again that border is present. Again, that's just for me. I know a lot of people do love this, and I really do like the actual window on the front, and you have the choice of full covers that I'll show off in a minute. But personally, like I said, I prefer the new packaging that Arrow Video do. But for this film, I think it suits it really well, especially with that iconic cover up. But anyway, there's cover 1, if you want to say. George A. Romero at the bottom with the 18 certificate logo and the Arrow Video logo there. There's the spine. Mine's got a little bit of damage on the spine. It wasn't caused by me or anyone else. I think it was a factory error. You won't be able to see it on camera, but there's a very fine line that runs all the way down the spine like a split. But anyway, there's the back. Tells you all the extras, regions, running time, cast and credits. A brief write-up on the film itself, so very much appreciated. Tells you what you get as well inside. but I'll quickly list off a few things. This is to my knowledge, this is a Region B release. Perhaps it is Region 3, I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, only disc 1 is a Blu-ray, which looking back it is a real shame. It would have been really nice to get both the Argento and the director's cut, or the extended version, on Blu-ray as well, so that's a shame. But for my personal preference, the theatrical version is the way to go anyway, so I'm glad that's the one that's on Blu-ray. You get a lot of extras ported over, like Document of Dead, the Dead Walk documentary that I briefly talked about last week, one of my favourite documentaries. I've recently, since filming that, watched the original version of Document of Dead, and I must say I really do enjoy that documentary, more so than I thought. So I definitely highly recommend checking that one out. But anyway, you have interviews, deleted scenes, trailers, commentaries. Sadly, you don't have the commentary with the 4 main actors in this, which is a real shame because, like I said, that was one of the highlights of the Anchor Bay Ultimate Edition. But anyway, again, you get some Giallo trailers, probably showing off some other Arrow Video titles coming out or in the near future. So you do get quite a bit. Compared to the Ultimate Edition, it feels like it's lacking. Perhaps a few more extras would have really boosted it, but again, what you get is nice. I think the new extra that they were really pushing was the Fan of the Dead, and I must admit that's a really enjoyable extra, and to my knowledge it hasn't been ported over. It's not on the second site set, sadly, but again, it's about a group of friends going to different locations from Dawn of the Dead, and they find some really interesting stuff on the way, so that's definitely a highlight of the set. But you do get a booklet and a double-sided poster. So with what they perhaps are lacking in extras, they make up with packaging and contents. But anyway, I'll take this out. I'll leave that there. Like I showed just a minute ago, there is cover 1, the iconic image. Cover 2. Perhaps the image that I'm displayed the most when it comes to this set. I really do like the silhouette of the gas mask and the colours, the greys, the blacks, the whites. I think it's really appealing. But we'll open it up. I'll take the booklet and poster out quickly. There's cover 3. This was newly commissioned for this box set. This was the cover that it came packaged in, and again is on the double-sided poster with the original UK quad. It's a nice image, but there's so many great cover arts for Dawn of the Dead, it's really hard to choose, you know, a select full to have. One of my favourites is the Italian cover, and also I think the German cover is very interesting for the film. But there's disc 3. The Argento cut, disc 2, the director's cut, and disc 1, which is the theatrical version. Again, the only Blu-ray disc, the other 2 are on DVD. And there's cover 4. Quite simplistic, interesting, but I think they could have probably gone with, like I said, either the German or Italian cover would have been nice. I'll take a look at the contents of the film quick. This is the booklet, sporting the newly commissioned artwork. There's the back. Just quickly run through this. We have some really nice still images, new write-ups and essays on the film. This booklet was done by Callum Waddell, who again has gone on to do many Arrow editions and also works frequently with 88 Films and other companies. But this is an interesting read. I've not gone through it all the way, but you know, it's pretty packed considering that it's only 14 pages long. So I recommend that. And then last up in the set, I won't be able to show this fully, but we have the double-sided poster. As you can see, It's the British UK quad on one side and the newly commissioned artwork on the other. But I really do appreciate when a Blu-ray, especially one of my favourite films, gets a poster, and in this case my favourite film, so I really do appreciate it, and I really do love the UK quad artwork, so that's nice to have. But yeah, that's the Arrow Video Dawn of the Dead. It's a interesting release. It's perhaps a little bit dated in some areas, but again, like I said at the start of the review, it's highly sought after, it's out of print. And really, for any Arrow Video collection, all Dawn of the Dead collection is an essential pickup. So I definitely recommend it. The cons are, again, it's a shame that only the theatrical is on Blu-ray and the other two are on disc. But from my memory, the quality on the theatrical cut was good enough. And a lot of the extras have been ported over from previous editions, like the Ultimate Edition. So you can't really go wrong. It is missing a few things, which is a shame, like I said, that commentary. But overall, it's a solid release, and it definitely got us through until now, so highly recommend it. Next up, like I said at the start, I wanted to talk about the 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead. I've watched this recently, last week, and that was the first time I'd watched it in a fair few years. And from my memory, I enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining, action-packed, fun, but I always remembered, compared to the original, it's not in the same league. And again, watching it recently with fresh mindset and being older, I do have my problems with it. I think the first act is very strong, especially the first 10 to 20 minutes I really enjoy. Some of the characters I really enjoy as well, and they're acted really well, like Ving Rhames' character and also the security guard CJ. I think he starts off very unlikable, but by the end he completely redeems himself, and he's perhaps my favourite character in the film. Some of the practical effects is really nice. There's a fair few headshots throughout the film. Obviously you have practical mixed in with CGI, but I think they do a good enough job. But for me, the problems that I have is when it comes to the second and third act, there's too many characters on screen. You don't really get enough time with them, and especially compared to the original, all four characters are fully fleshed out, and by the end you really do enjoy spending time with them. But with the remake, again, you just don't spend enough time with them, you don't get to know them, they're kind of cannon fodder. And I think especially in the third act it does go a little bit crazy in terms of plot. It reminds me of a video game very much of Dead Rising, the original one. It's just a bit OTT. But it is fun and it is entertaining, so I don't hate it, not by any means, but I just think as a remake of my favourite film of all time and a beloved horror film, I just don't think it stands up to the mark. And it's kind of interesting because I was having this conversation with my dad, who remembers, you know, much more about the release of the remake and how excited people were and reading about it in magazines like Fangoria and online. And he said that when it came out, everyone loved it, himself included. He had such a great time with it, really enjoyed it, but over the years it's slowly gone down and down in his estimations, and it's the same with me. And I think it's the same for a lot of people. I remember just, you know, less than 5 years ago, it was quite difficult to find someone who didn't enjoy this film and didn't rate it as one of the best remakes. But I think as time has gone on, and now with the new release of the original film, I think a lot more people are reevaluating it and reappraising the original compared to the remake. And again, I personally believe that the original stands head and shoulders above the remake. But again, there are qualities in the remake that I really do enjoy, and I do recommend it and say, if you haven't watched it, if you're a fan of the original, if you're a fan of zombie films and zombie media in general, it's definitely a film to seek out and watch. And kind of like the original, I feel that it kick-started the second or third zombie wave. After the remake of Dawn of the Dead, obviously a year before we had Shaun of the Dead, and a year before that we had 28 Days Later, but then a year after the remake we had Land of Dead, Romero coming back doing a full film in his zombie saga. And if you see a lot of zombie media now, like video games especially, all zombies are fast paced, they're running, they take a lot of rules and ideas from the remake and implement them. So again, it's got its own legacy, and it is nice that Dawn of the Dead does have a solid remake in terms of it kick-started the genre once again, just like the original did. But in terms of quality, I just don't think it's brilliant. But like I said, I do recommend it. So, but let me know down in the comments below what your feelings are and thoughts are with the remake, what you like, what you don't like, what works, what don't works. Of course, we have some great cameos from original cast members and callbacks to the original film that I really appreciate, especially Ken Free's character. He's got some great dialogue in there. But like I said, it's not perfect, but it's worth a watch at least. But anyway, this is gonna be part 2 of this series. I'll be back again next week with a unboxing, review and comparison of the brand new Second Sight release. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And then again, there'll be a bonus video at some point just showing off some merchandise and some collectibles that I've collected over the years for the film. Finally, there'll be a 40-minute, 50-minute video review on the original film, and I'll be going a lot more in depth in my thoughts and feelings with the film and behind the scenes stuff and just overall, you know, my love for the film. So definitely keep an eye out for that. It's something that I'm very much looking forward to and hope you guys enjoy. But anyway, like I said, this is week 2 of the Dawn of the Dead series. Hope you all enjoyed it. See you again next time. See you later.